it's Don the Auction Professor. Today I thought I would talk about the main skills you really need to have to make this work for you. I know everybody isn't looking for the same thing that I am, and a lot of you are. I'm looking for a full-time way from avoiding the corporate drag, the normal everyday, job that you have to do. Most of those jobs are a lot of hours and a lot of time away from your family and your home, and that's just not what I'm looking for anymore. Missed a lot of time. I've wasted at least 20 years of my life. What I'm doing now is just literally what I would have imagined I should be doing. I mean, I love what I do. It's literally like a treasure hunt every day of the week. I find these items of, basically gold, worth money, that I can turn around and swap. They're items that I have had to search for and dig for, just like, you're digging for gold or something. It's literally a treasure hunt for us, and I enjoy the relics and the artifacts and the historical and collectible items that come out of this. But, the biggest one here is people skills. You have to be able to deal with people in every aspect of this business. You have to not take things personal in this business. Nothing is personal. This is just business. If you've got an angry buyer getting off and going off on you and just being totally awful on you, you have to look aside from the angry person. You have to look at the big picture here. This one incident's not going to kill your business. It's not going to be the end of the world. You never have to deal with this person again. You can block him from the start. Just get the issue done with, whether he's complaining about a refund or whatever the case may be. Write it off as a cost of doing business and just move on. Solve the issue. Be done with the customer. Block them. Whatever you got to do. Report him to eBay. You messed up. It's your fault. Take your lumps and move on. Be done with it. Don't let it anger you. Don't let it bother you. That's the biggest thing. You have to have people skills. And that comes to every aspect of this. Don't be shooting off angry emails because, you don't take it that way. Don't worry about what they're saying. It doesn't matter. You don't have to deal with that person again. It's unimportant to your big picture. The big picture is what matters. So the people skills are important. They can get you to hook up with, pickers that'll pick for you. They can hook you up with business associates that'll help you and draw more business to you. Clients and customers, and the list of things that people skills are going to give you is horrendous. That's how this all starts, by being able to deal and talk and, address issues and trying to talk with people and getting the price lower and making offers and accepting offers and countering with offers, and being able to deal with people is huge. That's probably the number one thing you need to do to start this off. From the bottom line, from dealing with postal employees or UPS or other customers, whatever the case may be, that's a big issue you need to be able to handle. Dealing with people and having people skills. And vision is the number two thing you have to have. You have to have that vision. A vision is the path, the being able to see the big picture of where you're going, instead of just looking at what's happened today, or you had a bad experience, or you had a terrible buyer, and it gets you all flustered and upset and you're angry. That's just wasting your time. It's literally wasting your time. I used to be like that. I used to get angry all the time. I hated the jobs I've done and having to deal with customers and this issue and that issue, and that's why a lot of people are fighting doing eBay, just to get by from week to week. And they don't have the time or the knowledge enough to get into looking at the vision of the future. I don't look at eBay month to month, week to week, almost never, other than looking at what we need to put out or do for that specific week. I'm not worried about what the end of the week is at that point, because it doesn't really matter. And I'm not really looking at the end of the month either. It's good to look at all those numbers, but not worry about those numbers. What you're looking at the numbers for, when you keep projections and you track all these information and throw it in Excel or throw it in wherever you're keeping the information, whether it's in a piece of paper or not, you're looking for the end result, whether it be the end of the month or the end of the year. I mean, however that works for you, whatever's best for you. I can't tell you what's going to give you the vision or what's going to steer you in the right direction. I've done it, for 20 years of listening to other people telling me what the vision is and where the store should be going. And I learned what was key, very quick to earn my bonuses. I've always got advancements. I was always promoted. I'm not saying I didn't mess up and have issues too, because that's the only way you learn. You grow up, you learn. You don't do the stupid mistakes anymore. You follow the rules and you do what you're supposed to do. That's what I think is my responsible take on my vision. You know, I'm here supporting my family, my kids, and that's what matters to me. You know, I don't look at, you know, if a customer's mad or if I messed up an order. I apologize, I refund it immediately, offer them something else, and then I move on. Those aspects aren't in my vision. It doesn't matter what happens with that. You know, it's a one-day, one-time experience. You're never going to have to talk to that person again. You block them and you move on. You never have to deal with them again. So, you know, who cares if you have a bad experience with one person? Don't let it bother your day. Take a few minutes out if that's what it takes. Report them to eBay, block them, refund it, whatever. Even if it's a scam, don't deal with them. Go directly to eBay. Call eBay. If eBay doesn't give you the immediate response, call them back again. You know, they're going to get tired of hearing from you. You're going to probably get a notice on your account. This guy does a good job, but he's going to give you a hard time. You know, he's worth it. He'll look at, you know, how much money you got going through eBay, or whatever the case may be, your rating or your feedback score. You know, so that all matters. The vision is important. That's all that matters when it comes to, you know, all these other little petty issues. They're all petty. You know, if eBay messes up and they messed up twice, you know, again, this is petty. If you're working in the corporate world or any other business outside of reselling online, you know, that's nothing. I saw that every day of my life, and on the weekends in a restaurant, you got dozens of complaints and dozens of issues you have to deal with as a manager or running your own business, and eBay is your own business. So, you know, I come at this from a whole different line of, you know, career than most people have. I ran a professional business. The last store I ran did $3.2 million a year in sales, over $60,000 in sales every single week. As a regional, the last region I ran did over $11 million a year in annual sales, and that all funneled through me. I was responsible to look at every dime of that 11.3 million, where all the food costs, where all the expenses, the labor, the hiring, just every aspect of that is what you're responsible for when you're running something like that. And the same thing goes for eBay. So what I do may not be your vision. You may not want employees. You may not want to be big. You may not be concerned if you're selling, $250,000 or more a year. You just want to be comfortable. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But make sure you have the vision to get what you want out of eBay. eBay's not going to give it to you. They're not going to punish you for doing something, to get to that point, as long as you follow the rules. But for you, eBay is almost an employee, a tool you can use to earn more money. You just have to do it smart, do it right, and follow the rules. But that's our vision. That's where I have gotten to, and why my vision is the way it is. Because I come from a background that was very solidly built in a uniformed set standard of an increase every year of let's find out immediately why something's not selling, what's wrong with this, why is labor over, why is the cost of shipping goods gone up, what's going on with every aspect of that business. Because if I didn't, I lost money, or I didn't increase my pay. I've got a vision that's different than that. I want to take this as far as I can. I want as much backup financial stability as I can have, because you can't trust what's going on in society. You never know what's going to happen in life, or what's going to be right around the corner with you. So you got to be ready for it. And that's my vision. And the number 3 one that goes right along with vision, and that helps get you that vision, is your drive. You have to have a drive to do this. You have to have something driving you, making you want to do this. Most people fail because they don't have a drive to succeed. They don't have the drive to want. They don't have the drive to put in 60 or 70 hours for weeks on end to get some success and some results out of this. That's how you get to where you want to be. We've been on the bottom. We've been on a spot where we didn't know if we'd have enough food to feed our newborn at the time. I had worked for a resort for 2 years. I ran the resort at nights, and I was also the nighttime manager for the whole resort. We had probably 1,200 people that lived in this small seasonal resort, seasonal establishment. It was opened all year round, but we had a huge seasonal influx. In the winter, it was in Florida, and my wife became pregnant, and we had worked there for a couple of years at this point, and very successful. We advanced. And I hadn't taken any vacation or any days off, any sick days or anything. I had about a month's worth of pay, so I could take off 6 straight weeks, with pay, and not worry, and then come back. She had the baby, my first son, my first son Tim, And, you know, newborn father, you know, all excited and life's going good at this point. At least I thought it was great, you know, for being young and, you know, didn't need a ton of money at the time. It was the two of us. You know, we knew we were going to need some more money coming in. And it's a week before I'm supposed to come back to work, and I give my boss a call, and I said, hey, you know, what's going on? I'm just trying to get a schedule together, see where we're at and what's going on. And he tells me that the resort's, you know, going to be, you know, letting me go, as well as everybody there. They're switching over to a timeshare. It's been bought out. The park was bought out. You know, so I'm like, what? You know, and he's known this for a month, never bothered to tell me, you know, and at this point, you know, I got, you know, an extra 6 weeks of severance pay, and then, boom, I'm out the door. And I've got a newborn baby, you know, just a month old at this point. And, you know, we didn't have much left in the bank because we were counting on work coming back in. We were going to have the bills showing up, you know, as we didn't have great insurance back then. And I had really nothing at that point, you know. It was just a terrible experience. And my drive in life these days is based on that experience I had. The fact of not knowing how I was going to feed or buy diapers for a newborn baby, you know, and the fear and the constant fear of worrying about that, you know. And that's what drives me. Things like that, events like that in my life. Getting out of college, not having, you know, anything, and can't get a good job even with a master's degree. Something that would be comfortable for us without having to move and give up my life with my family. That's what drives me. The want not to work for anybody. I'll do whatever I have to do, put as many hours in as I need to, whatever's ethical, legal, and you know, and right. That's what I'm going to do to get to that point, to not have to work for somebody again. And that's what I'm going to do to get to that point, to not have to work for somebody again. This life has just been too good to us. My worries, I have no worries about, you know, financial stability anymore. We're going to get there. We've got enough backing right now to buy a, you know, a huge high dollar lot or a huge collection or an entire estate if I wanted to. You know, I don't have to worry about that. I don't go out and buy anything really new. I don't have a brand new vehicle. My kids don't get brand new cars. You know, my son works for us to get his cell phone and things like that while he's in college. You know, college comes first for him, you know, and my other son the same thing when he's to that point. You know, my kids come first, and our family comes first, and I don't worry about, you know, buying a flashy suit or a tie or, you know, doing any of that kind of stuff. My drive is to get my family and my life stable for forever. You know, to never have to worry, to have an endowment to pass on to my kids so that their life will be better, and then they can pass that on. You know, and the only way I'm going to get that way is putting in all this effort and having this drive. And that's honestly 100% what drives me. You can have your own reasons or whatever you want to get to that. But this is an emotional, my personal life, this is how I've gotten to where I'm at. I'm fully fledged, invested in what I do. I've got a drive to get this to wherever I want to take it. I never would have thought I would have been at this point even now, and I feel like I'm nowhere at sometimes when I wake up in the morning, just because I could take this so far. And again, just like how I talk about all my business works together, it's my whole entire model works as one unit, and that's how this all does work. You need the fourth one here, which is discipline, to get this to all stick together. Without discipline, you know, you might not work, or you might not put as many hours in to get as many listings up each day of the week. If you're going to do this and not be afraid and take that jump into starting a different type of job, a different type of career, you're going to have discipline. You're going to have the discipline to stick to a schedule, to work and get 50 listings up every day of the week if that's what it takes you. The discipline to get up and go out and source, the discipline to go out and do some research on these items. You have to do all this. You know, if you're going to be successful and want a big company or a big career, you're going to have to do all this. If you don't want that, that's fine. You still need discipline to get to where you're going if you just want to make $60,000 take home a year. You know, you still have to have discipline to do that. Everything you do in life needs discipline. When you work for somebody else, you're required to have discipline by the schedule that you're required to show up for. You have to be at work at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Your discipline is deemed part of your job. When you're doing this on your own, you don't have that set requirement of discipline for your schedule. You have to have the ability to do this on your own. You have to have the discipline to self-regulate your schedule and your time. You have to have that. Those are the skill sets that you need, and they all fit together. Number one, you have to have the people skills. You have to have the people skills to get this going, to be able to converse and to get the better deals and to get the better stuff and to find these items. You have to have that. No matter what you're looking for, whether it's the stuff I sell, the stuff you sell, or stuff other people sell, you have to have, you know, the people skills to do that. You also have to have the vision to know where you're taking this. What vision you have is going to dictate, some of the other aspects of your business. And again, these all work together. It's all lined up. All four of these things work together. They all have to be there for me, for my personal experience and my personal knowledge and my personal, career aspect of life. I have to have these skills. These are what I use almost daily to get my company going, to get my vision going, to encourage people to do what we need to do. And my wife's fully into this too. She sees it now because we've got some real good success going here. For the first time in our life, we don't worry about stuff anymore. We don't worry about stuff anymore. We don't have to. But these all stack up and work together. It's just literally back to a ladder analogy. You have to have the people skills to get the items you want. To get to the end result, which is the vision that you see, you have to have the drive to push yourself to get to the end result, the goal of that vision. And you have to have the discipline to get that drive going as well too. So these all work together. They're all separate, different skill sets that you need to have, that you need to develop. Write yourself out a schedule and put it in the wall if you don't have the discipline, and write yourself in at that time. Track your time. See what you're goofing off. Write down how many hours you're working every day of the week for a couple weeks. See where you're wasting your time at. You may not realize it that you stop and go do something for a few minutes, and that few minutes every day turns into 30 minutes or 40 minutes. You may not realize that you're wasting an hour on lunch when you could do the same thing and get it done in half the time and save another 30 minutes to put into listing items. These are things that you have to look at. This is how you address, your discipline. Write stuff down and fix those issues. Writing your hours down is a good lesson to learn. That gives you some idea on how much time you're putting in. Write it all down. Write out if you source for so many hours a day. Write this all down and figure out where you can cut that off. If you're sourcing and you're just randomly driving around, make yourself a route. Make yourself a route to go and cut off some time. Everything you do, you can do a little bit of research and save yourself in. This all ties into being disciplined. It all ties into having a vision and a drive. And it comes into research in this. That's all part of this. You can research all of these aspects of it, just like you research the items, and get those four main skills you need. Research, it can be considered a skill too, but that's something you just have to do. That's a requirement for this to succeed. So I don't call that a skill. That's a requirement. Without research, you're really dead in the water, and that goes for anything, whatever you sell. If you don't know anything about the item, you're not going to do it successfully. You're not going to sell it successfully. So research makes this all work. Whether it's learning those four skills, whether it's learning people skills, whether it's getting that vision that you need, having a skill set of a vision, being able to see the big picture. That vision is your skill set. That is seeing the big picture. You have to have a skill set to avoid and stay away from all the little things. Only look at the big picture. Look at the vision you have. Don't worry about the little aspects. Don't worry if the customer's angry or upset. Have that drive to get your vision, to have your vision come to fruition. You have to see that drive. You have to know that you're succeeding. If you see that you're succeeding, you're going to be even more driven to get that going. Set a bunch of goals that will get you that vision. At the end of the day, you've got this master goal. That's your vision. Your vision is your master goal. And set little goals, small steps to get you there. Again, a ladder. Set a goal to get to this step on the ladder, and then this step on the ladder, and then this step on the ladder. And pretty soon you're going to be at your goal. You're going to be at the top of the ladder, the goal, the prize. That's what you're going to have. I'm motivated by this kind of stuff. I've got the drive to get it because I don't want to work for somebody else. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I hated it, And that goes in with the discipline, the drive. These all work together. This is the four things you have to have. You have to have a goal. You have to have a skill set to see the big picture. Seeing the big picture is your vision. That's your vision. The big picture, not worrying about the smalls. And I don't worry about them. I don't worry if I don't, have this or that set up right, if I mess up something. It's going to work itself out if you have the vision and you learn from your mistakes. But that's just, the skill set that I think you need. Maybe somebody else will say something different, but this is what I've learned. This is the skill sets that I've always talked about, even when I've worked for somebody else. These are the skill sets that I've learned from working for other people. I've got 20 years of working for somebody else in a managerial position, handling, a ton of stuff, ton of money, and figuring out these issues. I've got the skill sets to do that because of that, and I listen and I research stuff even back then. So, you know, research will get you that. You'll be able to learn everything I've learned. You can learn to just from a little bit of time in and putting the time and effort in the skill set. You know, if you don't want to work for somebody else, that's what's going to get you there. You know, but these are the skill sets that I personally think you need, and these are the skill sets that I've learned from and that have helped and advanced my business and that I do every single day of my life. You know, I follow and meet my goals. That's my vision. You know, I'm good with the people. I've, you know, got the drive. I've got the discipline. That's what I've taken out of my life, and that's the things that have gotten me to where I'm at and made me fully comfortable with where I'm at, where I'm going. I've never been fully comfortable with my career, my job, and all that aspect of my life, and financially until now. Never. Never. And in 20 plus years of my life, I never had that feeling. Never. Until now. So, but that's just some words of wisdom, I guess. Hopefully you learned something. If you liked it, please hit the like button below. Subscribe and tell a friend.